Yeah, guys, so I wanted to do a video on the GME, AMC, KITTY and Wall Street Bets narrative and play that I'm seeing happening within the stock market as well as within the Sol meme coin market. Now, I'm very excited for this play because I think there's a lot of potential to make some real life-changing gains. And when I say that, I don't mean it lightly. I think what I'm seeing from a technical analysis perspective on these pairs, coupled with the strong narrative that I'm also seeing occur within stocks and within the Sol world, is these plays are highly correlated to what's going on in the GME stock with Roaring Kitty, and it's essentially a repeat of what happened in 2021, where there was a giant short squeeze on GME, led by from Roaring Kitty essentially and the Reddit community over on Wall Street Bets, and that short squeeze initiated what was the retail frenzy and stock meme coin era back in 2021. And what we've seen over the last year is we've seen Roaring Kitty come back to social media. Over on X, he's been active on YouTube again, and that is causing significant speculation within GME over in stocks, as well as AMC in the stock market. But also, we've seen these go on in parallel in on the Sol market as well, over on Sol, where there is GME on Sol, AMC on Sol, Kitty on Sol, as well as Wall Street Bets. And what I'm seeing happening, should I say, is when Roaring Kitty posts on Twitter or YouTube, we see an influx in liquidity and momentum to the upside in the stock pair, but also within the Sol pairs, and they're all highly correlated to one another. So what I'm looking to do with my play in these coins is I'm looking to exploit the narrative, number one, the volatility, number two, because there is massive volatility in these coins, and with it being highly correlated to the minute to when things are posted online by Roaring Kitty, I am looking to capitalize on this narrative and trend early, because at the minute we are still in an early phase, before huge liquidity gets pumped into these coins and before GME in the stock market really starts to take off again. Now, if you're not aware of what went on back there and the narrative, I'm going to give you a brief rundown using ChatGPT, which is essentially, I've used it to help me pull together the data, give me a timeline of events, and give me the key details of what happened, so then I can understand and break this down in an understandable way for you guys and give you my thesis on why I think the same players on Sol are really good potential and why I've been investing quite a bit of money into them myself. It's not financial advice. You should do your own research on this. But here's my thought processes and the information that I'm pulling together. I want you to look at the correlations that I'm going to show you between the stocks as well as the crypto. I want you to look at the correlations in when Roaring Kitty posts as to what happens with the tickers on Sol and GME. And I also want you to understand the history of what's played out in the past and what's potentially playing out here as well. So if we start with just giving you the brief background. So GME was short squeezed in early 2021, and it was characterized as a historic financial event by a clash of retail investors led by an online community and institutional short sellers. So pre-2021, Gamestop was a struggling video game retailer facing declining revenues, accelerating short interest from hedge funds betting on its failures. Roaring Kitty, Keith Gill, should I say, a retail investor known as Deep Fucking Value on Reddit's Wall Street Bets. Now that's important also because it all started over on Reddit under the subreddit Wall Street Bets. And Keith essentially began analysing GME in mid-2019. He identified it as being undervalued and supported by significant short interest and a potential turnaround due to leadership changes. Gamestop also had a relatively good cash position and loyalty amongst its gamers. So if we continue with the timeline of events, July 2020, Roaring Kitty begins live streaming his GME thesis on YouTube, explaining the potential for a short squeeze. And I've watched some of these videos myself, and they're still on YouTube. You can still watch them now. I'd highly recommend it because you start to get an understanding of the narrative a bit more, and also building conviction yourself as to why you should be putting some risk on in this play. And for me, the way he was able to give his analysis and fundamental research that he had done on GME and on the play at hand with the short squeeze, it was, for me personally, I was very much interested in that point. I didn't think much of it. It was more hearsay, what I'd heard. But from looking at his videos, I gained quite a lot of conviction in my own self and this play. So I definitely recommend watching it. But yeah, so essentially he explains his conviction in it, and explains the fundamentals, limited supply, as well as other bullish signals. He also, from December 2020, started posting on Wall Street Bets and showing his screenshots of his GME positions, motivating retailers, and there was a lot of traction within Wall Street Bets on Reddit where people were starting to sort of get attracted to the narrative, see his understanding of what he believed what was going to happen in GME. And from there, a series of events happened which essentially caused this movement in the stock price. And I'll take you over to the official stocks at the minute. And if we go back to the dates, if we go on the weekly time frame and we jump. So we were just talking about there, 2019. He starts posting around here about GME being undervalued. As you can see from that point, it had already declined pretty much 95% into this key liquidity area, around 93 cents. And he started live streaming July 2020. So if we go to July 2020, started live streaming right here, right there. And as you can see, as he started live streaming and traction was starting to build in the stock, there was a short squeeze, retail coming to the market with sort of what he was projecting on YouTube and gaining that traction. And because there was a massive short interest, there was essentially a short squeeze that went on here and caused this movement in price to the upside. And that's what kicked off the sort of stock meme play back in 2021. And as you can see, the move that come through was absolutely huge. It went from, well, 12,000% from low to high. And it's pretty incredible that he started live streaming here, in July 2020. So if we go back, further bullish news, Ryan Cohen acquires a stake in GameStop, adding credibility to a potential turnaround. Gil doubles down on his position. Ryan Cohen is appointed by GameStop's board. That's what starts some of the price rises. Increase in chatter on Wall Street Bets about a gamma squeeze, where rising stock prices force options market makers to buy shares, compounding the price further. As you can see, retail traders pile into GME shares and contracts. It was 2021, January. Momentum skyrockets, and you can see the price. If you want to just pause the screen and read through this yourself, that would be great. But essentially what you can see is momentum started to build after he started doing his live streams, and it really took over Reddit and the subreddit Wall Street Bets with what was going on in the stock market. The hedge funds that were actually short announced a multi-billion-dollar loss and had to get a bailout from Citadel and Point72. So it was essentially a big fuck you to the short sellers on GME, a big fuck you to the hedge funds that were looking to make, you know, a shitload of money from shorting a stock to death, basically. And Roaring Kitty come along with his fundamental analysis videos on YouTube and really took retail by storm, given his thesis, which was a great thesis. And from there, it really just took over the internet by storm and led to this cascade of liquidations, but also incredible gains in the GME pair. He then later testifies before Congress defending his analysis as legitimate investment research, and he emphasised belief in GameStop's long-term potential and disdain for hedge funds exploiting high short interest. So the key insights into this is retail unity in social media. Reddit communities, YouTube streams, and Twitter created an unified retail front capable of moving the market. Roaring Kitty's influence. So Gill's rational analysis combined with memes and transparent trades rallied retail traders. He was viewed as a symbol of the everyday man taking on Wall Street. So it's got a full narrative of being retail driven, of one man versus Wall Street, essentially, that managed to save GME at its lows from a bunch of short sellers. And then the impact of what it had on that. It highlighted the power of retail investors leveraging online communities and strong communities. It sparked debates on market fairness, transparency, and institutional influence. And it also introduced the concept of meme stocks into mainstream finance, because after this event happened, there was a massive shift in people talking about GME and AMC being the meme stocks of the stock market, essentially, at that point. And what we're seeing now is Roaring Kitty hasn't returned. He stopped posting on social media some time ago, and then he started posting again this year, which really started that speculation into GME and AMC again. So what I'd like to show you at the minute is Roaring Kitty come back and started posting again around here just before just as GME was starting to go on another monstrous move. It moved from low to high almost 550%. And then Roaring Kitty has essentially been active, posting on X and YouTube throughout this range after the initial move. And what I'm correlating and seeing in that move, and what's taken shape over on Sol as well, is the same thing as what happened in 2021. So let's go through the history real quick. Man posts a lot of memes, as you can see. He speaks in riddles through memes. 13th of May. Okay, so his last post on X was June 19th, 2021. So if we go back to the chart, June 19th, 2021. He posted that. Let's do a vertical line. When was it? 19th of June. That's when he posted it, as in he was essentially put cats. And not much to take from that, in my opinion. But essentially, that's when he became very quiet on his account at this point here. And then he doesn't actually come back to social media until this year, May the 13th. Now, if you look at where May the 13th is on here, and you mark it out again, essentially he comes back as the market rips 284%. That was his first time posting, and that causes a market movement to the upside of around about 280%. And that was the first time he'd posted in years. And what did he post? As you can see, he posted a gamer relaxed back in his chair, goes forward. To me, that signals pay fucking attention at this point. You know what I mean? That's what he's signaling to me is, okay, it's game time. We're going to get up and we're going to essentially, it's go time. Pay attention. And from that point, he then starts posting, a bunch of different memes, cryptic messages. I've not deciphered these myself or have any real understanding of what they are and how they portray what he's trying to tell us. It might not be trying to tell us anything, but that's not what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is the correlations that I'm seeing in price action supported by this narrative. So let's go over to the the Sol pairs. Now this is GME on Sol. As you can see, it's a 43 million market cap right now. It's got an all-time high market cap of 235 million, almost. And if you look at these massive candles that spike up to the upside, let's have a look at the percentage of that. That right there is a 4,500% gain in a single daily candle. It also does another candle like that there and does a 650% gain in a single daily candle. And if you actually take a look and we go, okay, that was the 13th of May 2024. Does that date sound familiar to you? Well, it does to me, because guess what? That was the day in which Roaring Kitty posted on X again for the first time. Here. So as you can see, the 13th of May is where he first posted. And what did GME do? GME on Sol went from a 3 million market cap to a fucking $89 million market cap in a single day after that tweet. A real massive injection of liquidity. And again, later on here. And what have we done? We've created a really large range where price has accumulated in these levels. It's formed an acceptance level above 22 mil is what I'd say. Having essentially accumulated in the 3 million market cap area prior to that. But as you can see, once Roaring Kitty comes back to social media, we have that correlated push where this single candle is a result of his post on X. Think how powerful that is. All the guy has to do is fucking post, and you could see another god candle like this rip up into these highs and even higher. And that's why I'm excited about this, because not only is it correlated to that, is I like the PA here. I like how we've formed this range from low to high. I like how we've essentially formed resistance, pushed through, formed support, and now we're essentially forming bullish support, forming new higher lows every single fucking time. We're following demand. We've got a nice trend line, and personally I'm thinking that's going straight up. We're going into new all-time highs, and we're probably, I'd even like to say we're going to hit $1 billion in this coin, if I'm quite honest. With what's going on in the stock market, with how strong the narrative is, I personally think that this coin is really under the radar right now. We're at a 42 million market cap. It's fucking nothing in reality. It's got an upside, even just from current price, of 440% to its prior all-time high. And as I say, it's extremely correlated to what is going on in the stock market with AMC and GME, but also it's intimately connected to when Roaring Kitty posts on social media too. So, yes, as I say, the 13th, I want to take your attention to AMC as well, because AMC is also a part of that narrative. It's moving exactly the same as GME. As you can see, there's similarities straight away. AMC though is a lower market cap and has much more potential. And if we take a look, 13th of May again, what did AMC do? AMC put in a 30,000% gain, moving from a $106,000 market cap all the way to a $32 million market cap in a single day, off the back of one single tweet. And what, again, I like about this is because it is highly correlated to the tweets and to what is going on. I believe that, again, once Roaring Kitty starts posting more and GME in the stock market starts running up alongside AMC, I wholeheartedly believe that GME on Sol and AMC on Sol is also going to do incredibly well and move in sync, just like we've seen initially with these initial moves, and they're going to move to the upside. And if we take a look at how much percent we have to the all-time high on AMC right now from current price, it's around about 1,300%. So we're talking huge gains here, like huge. We're talking a times 10 from current price, a times 13 even. And then another step further, we also have another correlated pair for Kitty. And essentially Kitty is a ticker that is based on Roaring Kitty's community, almost. It's a community driven token. And again, what I like about this is it is highly timed and in sync with the other pairs. So you can see the market moved again on the 13th of May 24 when Roaring Kitty posted. And this ticker done, 28,000% gain in that single daily candle, moving from 140,000 market cap all the way to 40 million. And from there, price has really just ranged, stagnated and consolidated. It hasn't done too much, but in my opinion, in this, price is accumulating orders. It's had that massive interest because of the narrative, and I personally believe we've formed a level of acceptance, a level of accumulation in this massive range. It has been ranging now since around about June, August. We bottomed out, and as you can see, we've just been forming sort of bullish higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. Each time, volume getting higher, market cap getting higher, and all it's going to take is that catalyst of GME going higher in the stock market, Roaring Kitty posting more, and this is going to go and take out its all-time high and go much higher, just like AMC and Kitty. And just like I explained in the ChatGPT, where it all started over on Wall Street Bets, the subreddit on there. There is also another correlated pair called WSB, Wall Street Bets on Sol. And this, again, the ticker is extremely similar in terms of price action and the correlation taking place. And what you can see is, again, on the 13th of May 24, we have another God candle where essentially price moves from a $17,000 market cap all the way to a $14 million market cap, which is 82,000% in one day. Anybody who bought down there will have likely made a shit ton of money. And what has price done? Well, it's moved from an overbought territory after an initial first mover, and all these first moves are signaling to me is there is a massive amount of liquidity being injected into the market in sync related to this bullish community driven narrative of meme stocks. And what has been one of the best performing narratives in crypto to date in this cycle, it has been memes. Memes have dominated the fucking space, left, right and centre, for the huge majority of this cycle so far. and I absolutely believe that it will continue to do so. And meme stocks like these, like GME and like AMC, are going to continue higher in the stock market, but also in these sol pairs as well. And I think these sol pairs are really going to be pairs that take the market by surprise because they're very under the radar at the minute. But also they're going to take the market by storm of just how high they go, I believe, because of this narrative and the underlying strength behind it with what's gone on in the past and what is taking place now, essentially. And as you can see, you know, the pairs are really nice. We've formed a low, we deviate the low, we form resistance, as you can see, reject, reject, and then what do? We push above, and now we're forming support. And after we form support, what I'm looking for is essentially the price to start moving to the upside. So I think for me, a lot of these charts, GME, Wall Street Bets, Kitty, they're all telling me that we're almost ready for upside here. We've had that initial breakdown, deviation below the low. We've had resistance, and then we start to build support. And like I say, we have flipped into a daily bullish trend, and it's just a matter of time before this really starts to move to the upside like it did here after this initial range, just like after another range there. And yeah, so for me it's only a matter of time before these start moving to the upside. Let me take you to some more tweets as well. In fact, if we go the 3rd of June on that candle, and we go back to Roaring Kitty, and we're in May, okay, June, 3rd of June, okay, there we go. So you post on the 3rd of June, and you take a look at GME on the 3rd of June, what happens? Bearing in mind price was correcting, it was correcting, coming into a discount, ranging, and then on the 3rd of June we get another massive injection of liquidity. We have another God candle, and price moves 600% or so to the upside after that post, and that essentially tops us out in the market at that point. We also, if we take a look at AMC, we'll notice it's exactly the same. What do we have? 3rd of June when he posts, and AMC moves 730% to the upside. Kitty, let's have a look at Kitty again. 3rd of June, and it moves 804% to the upside there. And then Wall Street Bets as well. 3rd of June, and it moves 525% to the upside. And that just shows you how correlated and timed the injections of liquidity are into these sol narrative coins when looking at the the social media of Roaring Kitty. And you can see he's getting like 10 million, 16 million views, 7.3 million. So these are massive, massive numbers. And if you can think that these tokens right now are so undervalued, they're so low market cap when you've got stuff like Brett, which is over $1 billion in market cap. You've got Dodge, which is 70 billion market cap. You know, we're not even 100 million on any of these tokens right now, currently traded. Some of them, like WSB, are not even 1 million. I grabbed the majority of my position on AMC under 1 million market cap. I've started to buy Wall Street Bets WSB here at current prices. I only just come across this one with it being correlated into this narrative. And again, the upside on this is around about 1800%. And if we continue to follow the posts, and we go 6th of September is the one here. 6th of September, Wall Street Bets. Oh, there it is, that candle there. the candle that essentially puts in 122% from low to high. What happens? We have another injection of liquidity as he posts, and what does that do? It starts to form bullish order flow, a series of higher highs and higher lows. And as you can see, like I said, 6th of September, right there, and on Wall Street Bets, 6th of September, how correlated that is. We do the same with GME. Again, 6th of September, what happens? We were forming resistance under a key level, and then we have his post on the 6th of September here. We break above that level, and essentially we form support as it now starts forming bullish order flow on the daily, and the same again for AMC as well as KITTY. So what you can see in these pairs, guys, and what I'm trying to show to you, is just how fucking correlated these sol pairs are with what's going on with Roaring Kitty when he's posting on his social media. And for me, I like the price action on these in terms of we're forming accumulation ranges, we're in a bullish uptrend, still in a very heavy discount. The risk to reward in terms of how high these can go if the narrative really plays out is quite insane. As you can see, AMC, 31 million market cap. This could easily do 100 million, and 100 million to where price is right now is, you know, it's a 4,000% gain pretty much. So these are not small numbers. These are like extremely life-changing figures that you can sort of potentially expect to see hit. GME, for instance, has already hit a $230 million market cap. You know, almost a $250 million. And AMC is massively lagging behind that. If AMC even does 100 million market cap, that would mean essentially there is a 4,000% gain on AMC right there. And that wouldn't have even hit half of GME's market cap at its first all-time high, which is insane. It's absolutely insane. So I just wanted to show you the price action, because for me, I trade Wyckoff, I trade accumulation and distribution and schematics along with smart money concepts. So for me, I see this as a range between low and high. We have had a deviation of the range, a sweep. We've accumulated and come into a higher time frame discount, because ultimately price corrected, 94.5% from low to high. So it bottomed out. And once price bottomed out and give me this first move here with that bullish candle, that's when I started buying all in this range here. I started buying in this range, I've started buying here, and then again I've started buying here as well, because all of this is still a very good discount before higher time frame moves come through to the upside when this narrative truly kicks off. You might be asking, well, why hasn't it kicked off yet? Why have we not seen a god candle like this already? And especially while Bitcoin is now above 100k, alts are popping off, you'd have expected maybe these pairs to do the same. But I think it comes back to the stock price and what is going on in the stock market for these coins. I personally think that we've not seen it happen yet because the stock price is yet to really move. You've got to understand that when there was that bullish move on the 13th in the sol pairs, there was also that massive bullish move in the GME pair on stocks. So with that same principle again, we're starting to see that bullish accumulation here, just like we're seeing the bullish accumulation here. And if you can understand and see how correlated they are and how similar these pairs look, even just between this price action right here, this accumulation higher, it looks pretty much the fucking same as what I've just showed you on GME, AMC, KITTY and Wall Street Bets. And let's go back to the stock. And what I'm sort of expecting here is, I'm expecting, we've got earnings in 2 days' time, the 10th. And what I'm looking for is a catalyst event between Roaring Kitty posting on social media. I'm expecting a catalyst because we've got earnings as well, and I'm expecting it to be a fairly strong earnings from what I've read online and how GME's positioned themselves. But I'm also expecting this pair, once this starts to push up to the upside and starts to target this level again and starts to come up to this level, that is when I'm expecting the sol pairs to really kick off and move to the upside like it done here. So for me, I am aggressively accumulating as much as I fucking possibly can in these ranges, in deep discounts with hundreds of percent, sometimes thousands of percent to the upside remaining. I think the narrative here is very strong and these are very early movers. And I personally don't think there is a stronger narrative that's going to take place this year over what is happening in the stock and what's potentially going to play out with the sol coins as well. So overall, what I'm looking for, guys, is everything sort of is eyes on GME stock at the minute. Once this pair moves and starts to move to the upside, I'm expecting, Roaring Kitty to be posting some more. That'll be timed exactly with it, just like this first move was. Roaring Kitty posts, the stock moves hundreds of percent. I'm expecting the same things. We have earnings. Earnings can be a rather speculative event as well. So earnings coupled with the fact that Roaring Kitty just posted recently another cryptic message, I may add as well, if we go over there. Again, I'm not entirely sure. This could mean the 9th of the 1st, so the 9th of January at 4:20, who knows. But it's one where there is tension building up, I think. There's a lot of tension building up in the price action. As you can see, it's very compressed. When price action coils like this, volatility is lowering and it's becoming more compressed. And essentially is a squeezing event before higher volatility to the upside or the downside, I may add. But in this setup, with what's going on, I 100% am looking at the upside here and not the downside. And all I'm looking for is essentially, we could correct a little bit before moving up, or we could just start moving up. I haven't put a timeline on any of this, I may add. I have been buying these coins since September, so once crypto bottomed out in August, I started to buy them aggressively in September, October, and then I'm still buying them to this day, waiting for this narrative, because I believe that once this moves to the upside, and it's inevitable, I believe, it's inevitably going to move to the upside. It's inevitable that Roaring Kitty is going to continue to post, and there is going to be further catalysts which is going to drive the GME price in the stock market up. But as well as that, it's going to drive the price of GME on sol up, as well as AMC, Kitty and WSB that we've talked about and that I've explained to you as being exactly the same and correlated, to an extremely accurate degree, all setting up in a very nice formation and buy model, in my opinion. And yeah, once these take off, guys, and get above these levels, the sky is the limit. It could really create some life-changing gains, especially from the likes of AMC, Kitty and WSB, which have literally thousands of percent to the all-time high, like 1,500% to the all-time high. And if it moves anywhere into the 200 mil market cap or even 100 mil, keeping it below, being conservative, let's say, keeping it below what GME's all-time high is already put in of 230 mil, even if AMC done half of that, 120 million, that is still, 120 mil, let's have a look, 5,000% return. Phenomenal. It could change your life. I'm very excited for these players, as you can see. because I believe in this narrative. I believe in how correlated it is. You know, looking at the correlations taking place, it's just a matter of time before this moves to the upside aggressively again. And it's just going to take a tweet as well as GME taking off to the upside. So yeah, it's very exciting. Let's just jump back onto ChatGPT. So basically, I'm just summarising what ChatGPT has basically told me. Not because I need ChatGPT to educate me. I am very much aware of this narrative already, but I wanted to be able to use ChatGPT in a way that can give you a high level understanding of the narrative and what I think is taking place based on the data that ChatGPT is able to read and then give me in a nice format. So what I also think is going to take place is liquidity rotations. So where the stock does really well and GME and AMC take off again and move to the upside in stocks, I also think that is going to attract liquidity, and there's going to be liquidity rotations into the Sol pairs. Because if you can imagine the guys, the typical retail investor, they are investing in GME, it moves hundreds of % to the upside, and then they find out that there's GME on Sol, there's AMC on Sol, and they've also got loads of upside potential. The likelihood is there's going to be money rotations into the Sol pairs from the stock market, but also because there's easier access as well. Like, you can get these coins on a DEX using a non-custodial wallet that you can literally download on your phone and purchase it directly through your Phantom wallet through Jupiter DEX exchange. So the onboarding on-ramp to be able to buy these coins is easy. It's an open market. It's open 24/7, unlike the stock market as well. And I do think that once things really start to kick up, it's going to attract liquidity, but it's also going to rotate liquidity into it from other coins and from the main stock players as well. But basically, narrative strength, AMC is directly tied to the same GME theme trend and benefit from thematic liquidity rotations. Tokens like GME on Sol hitting a 231 market cap suggests AMC could follow suit. The historical pattern of stocks to crypto liquidity flows supports this thesis. Mimicking behavior in crypto markets amplify narratives due to their speculative nature and meme-driven culture. Isn't that true? As I've just said earlier on in the video, it's a meme coin play essentially, and what has been the strongest coins in this market? It's been meme coins. So for me personally, there is no other better narrative to be involved in other than AI. And these coins are so under the radar still right now that when they do move, I think it will attract the right attention, the right liquidity, as well as the whole community that is sleeping on these Sol coin pairs essentially. So just literally potential future catalysts, high profile endorsements or continued media focus on Roaring Kitty or GME stock could further drive Sol token interests. We've seen it online. There is an abundance of news on GME and on AMC over in America as well, and how the community is very speculative. There's a very strong community behind it, and there is typically quite a lot of news events and headline attention grabbing events that occur online surrounding the whole GME and AMC play. So I think that in itself, especially when the stock tickers start to move, it's going to also have the same effect with the Sol pairs, attract that attention, attract that liquidity, and that'll move over into them pairs, ultimately pushing the Sol pairs into higher market caps as well. Overall guys, the key takeaways. AMC and similar Sol tokens operate in a decentralized way to speculate on the GME narrative. Its correlation with GME stock makes it an attractive play, and that's what I think myself. Its correlation with the GME stock and Roaring Kitty makes it a very attractive narrative to invest in, because you've seen them initial hundreds of thousands, well, not hundreds, but thousands of percent moves to the upside in the sol pairs, and all we've done right now is consolidate. And we've consolidated for 8 months now plus, which is a huge amount of time for an accumulation to play out on these low cap coins. And I personally think that when price is ready to do so, and when GME starts moving in the stock market, there is going to be a full sync in terms of a synchronized pump in, AMC stock, GME stock, alongside the sol pairs, Wall Street bets. Because why? Why do I think Wall Street bets on sol is going to move? Because one, it's correlated in terms of the price action to the events that we're seeing with the posts with Roaring Kitty. So that to me already, straight away, the correlation's already there and it's already established. But why? Because Wall Street Bets is the subreddit where it all started out for AMC, for GME, and for Roaring Kitty. So it seems like a no-brainer as to why WSB would be intimately tied and part of that narrative. Same with the Kitty ticker. Kitty is the community for Roaring Kitty, and it's the community back token for that. And again, it moves in sync with Roaring Kitty's posts on X and what's going on in the stock market. So for me, again, that coin is a part of that narrative, and there's 4 coins altogether that are a part of that narrative that I have high hopes and I believe there's much potential in there. And then narrative driven price action. So crypto traders should monitor Roaring Kitty's public activity. Absolutely have your posts turned on. You should have notifications turned on, because when this guy posts, you can bet your ass that these pairs are going to pump to the upside. And it's a no-brainer, you know what I mean? All you got to do is buy a little bit here in the discount. Eventually, when he tweets and that tweet ends up being one of these pumps, all you got to do is take profit, and you could be up 1,000%. Easy money, in my opinion. And then it's also tied to the GME stock movement. They're essentially leading indicators for AMC and other sol tokens. And the reason I like them over on sol is because extremely small market cap, meaning they have extremely high returns and a hell of a lot of potential to go much higher, equaling much larger returns. They're very under the radar in terms of no one's really looking at them. There's not many people on Twitter following the sol players. And you can see that in the market cap that we're at right now. They've been bottomed out for months, literally months. Bitcoin put in its low on the 8th of August, which is when this bottomed out. And then since then, we've been moving to the upside. As you can see in the altcoin market, we've started to move massively. Altcoins, large cap, medium cap, and some small caps are starting to move hundreds of percent. And yet these coins in particular have not really moved a great deal compared to what they can do. So for me, you're buying a lagging coin with incredible risk to reward that can potentially change your life, which is why I have been buying and scaling in over the last few months, and really getting a good amount of risk on to be able to capitalize on these trends and potentially change my life with this play. We'll see. But that's the plan. That's my thought process on it. That's my thesis on the matter, with the correlations that I'm tracking, such as, the timing of these tweets, timed specifically to these events and these moves to the upside, which are also incredibly tied to the stock price and what is going on in GME. And if you look at GME, personally, I think this is going higher. We've come into this weekly demand here. We've tapped in, formed a range, and essentially, formed a range low, formed a range high, manipulate the range low, put in a bullish move. There's a market shift bullish. All we're doing is now correcting before we put in another high. And I personally think this is the target up here, 120. Probably even higher as well, if I'm honest. But the first target remains here, second target remains there, and for me, this looks perfect. You know, we've corrected the 0.62 after this initial bullish move, breaking out of a range, break, retest, continuation. And weekly candle, you know, we've had bullish candles every single week since the end of October now. For me, it's just suggesting that we are going higher on this pair. There's no doubt about it. And that essentially forms my thesis and bias and what I'm expecting for these. I hope it gives you a bit more understanding of why I'm so heavily bullish and convinced in these pairs. For instance, AMC, if we take you to... So, AMC has that circulating supply, and at 100 million market cap, if AMC will hit essentially 10 cents. So at 100 million market cap, AMC will hit 10 cents. If you've got 1 million AMC, if you hold 1 million AMC, that's $100,000 return, which is pretty fucking insane if you ask me. I have got 3 million AMC at the minute, which I've acquired for around about $3,500 in this area here. And when AMC, or if AMC hits 100 million, I believe it will. And essentially, if it hits 100 million, it's going to hit 0.10 cents. And to me, that is a $300,000 position from a $3,500 position that I've put in. So it's insane money. It could be, you know, if AMC was to go to a 250 million market cap, which is the previous all-time high of GME. So say GME goes to $1 billion, it times fours its previous all-time high. And let's say AMC doesn't go anywhere near $1 billion, but it does 250 million. Now, that would be 25 cents a coin. And for me personally, who's accumulated just over 3 million coins in AMC, let's do the calculation. So there's 3 million times 0.25. That's $750,000 position from $3,500 invested, which is absolutely insanity in my eyes. But it's very much possible. It's very much possible. If you think of the likes of how high Brett's gone, that's over $1 billion in market cap right now. AMC has already hit, GME's already hit just under $250 million already. So you've got to think, how high could AMC go as well? And getting into any of these coins is an incredible gain to the highs when you think about the percentages. GME right now is nowhere near as good as the others, but it's the leader. And if this was to hit $1 billion, for instance, there's still a 2,000% gain to that. Whereas AMC, KITTY and WSB have thousands of percent just to their all-time high, as is. You know, if you look at WSB, for instance, the market cap on this is, you know, it's 1,770% away. And that's only got a 14 million market cap. If you think about Wall Street Bets on a whole in terms of its Reddit, and if it was to gain traction on Reddit, this could easily go so much higher than 14 million market cap. It's such small figures, and if it goes to, even if it went to 100 mil or even 50 mil, there's 6,000% gain there. 100 mil, 13,000%. You know what I mean? You could put a small amount of money in this and make an absolute killing. And for me, this is a generational trade in the making. These 4 tickers right here on Sol are generational trades setting up in the market. I wholeheartedly believe it. And this is where my conviction's coming from, supported by the technical analysis, the fundamental analysis of the narrative, and ultimately what is taking place in the stock market as well as in the crypto market. So yeah, I thought I'd get this across with as much information as I possibly could to give you a real good understanding of why I'm investing my money into these higher risk plays with this narrative. because ultimately I don't really like higher risk players, but when they've got a solid narrative and backing and community behind them, and I can get behind them in terms of my conviction, then for me, I don't mind them as much because I see more potential than the risk. Inherently, there is still a lot of risk behind these coins, any coins on Sol that are low cap. But with that comes high reward as well. So it's just something you've got to keep in mind and accept as well. But yeah, other than that, guys, I'm going to leave it there. I've pretty much covered off everything that I'd like to. Something to keep in mind is these. It moves up pretty much in sync. So at $1 billion, it would be $1. If AMC was to hit $1 and hit $1 billion market cap, well, that would be an absolute generational trade for me, because I'll have made over $3 million from a $3,500 position. How insane would that be? That's of course being extremely optimistic and greedy. For myself, I'd be happy hitting 100 million market cap and taking away a few $100,000 at this point. I have got around about 18,000 US dollars invested between these 4 tickers. So when they all start to move, I'm going to be up in the thousands of percent for all of them, and that's the plan for me. When I start hitting these all-time highs, I'm going to scale out, take some profits, and then leave runners to see just how high they can go. But yeah, definitely an exciting one, guys. I'm absolutely pumped just thinking about it and talking about it. If you need any more information, or you want to follow me and my positions, I post all of my analysis over in my Discord, the Crypto Collective. I called out these coins on the 16th of the 9th and said these are charts you should take your attention towards. Put the charts. So as you can see, I shared the chart. This was when GME was at 21.5 million, so it's already moved times 2. There's 100% gain from the charts I shared back then. I've already made 700% realized gains on AMC. When I initially bought them, I identified these coins on March 7th of this year. I bought 8 Sol worth and bought 1.4 million AMC. And then I went on to make a lot of Sol in return. I think it was about 60 Sol in return. And 700% gain. And I'm coming back for a lot more than that this time. I have bought the dip very heavily in these lows. As you can see, I'm posting this when AMC was less than $1 million market cap. It's now sat at 2.2 million, so there's over 120% gain from the shared calls in my Discord, which was a free call as well, by the way, guys. As you can see, free analysis channel right up here. The link will be down in my bio if you'd like to join. I don't really shill it too much, but it's definitely worth getting involved, because I post a lot of my analysis on here, a lot of updates on here regarding what is happening, what I'm expecting, when I'm buying, and what I'm buying. I also track hundreds of coins across the crypto market, as well as calling, Bitcoin and Ethereum with a very high degree of accuracy. I'm very transparent. I put all of my calls in the forecast archives channel, where you can see exactly what I've called, when I've called it, and you can see the accuracy at how accurate I've been in my calls months later. It's a great place to be. It's a thriving community, and I'm sure anyone would love it. But I'm going to leave it at that, guys. So yeah, with that being said, have a good evening. Look into them charts. Do not fade them, because honestly, there is generational gains to be made from these tickers. And if you go quickly jump onto them on TradingView, you can see the chart looks a little cleaner on these, but you can see the upside is very much huge. These coins are listed on MEX, CoinX, and a bunch of other exchanges if you care to look. And the upside is just absolutely phenomenal with them. So yeah, definitely check them out. And yeah, thanks for watching.